Stew.
Yeah, thank you, John. Yeah, having some beef stew on a cool fall evening, like right now, is always satisfying. And joining us now again is Crystal Klug from the Columbus area. And this is called a cider beef stew. Where did you come up with this recipe?
I actually found it in a Taste of Home cookbook several years ago, and it's always been my go-to in the fall when the temperature drops and there's fresh cider with Nebraska's orchards. That's always exciting. So if you love fall as much as I do, I just feel like this is fall in a crock pot.
Great. So, and this is something your kids enjoy too. You have young children, and
yes,
they like this.
Absolutely. They love fresh fruits and vegetables, and so this is a hearty meal, and it's also healthy. So that kind of, as a mom, I look for the recipes that have the freshest ingredients.
Okay, so how do we begin with this one?
Okay, so first you're just going to get your vegetables ready. In a stew, the vegetables tend to be just a little bit bigger. If you have small children like I do, you can adjust the size if you want to make it smaller. Just make sure it's all proportioned right so it all cooks at the same time. So we have celery. We're just gonna dump all this in the crock pot, which is great.
Potatoes, and you can prepare all this the night before.
Yeah.
And then have it ready to put in the morning before you go to work. Okay.
And we have some onions. And then we also have our carrots.
Okay.
And we have our stew meat. And if you had a little bit of extra time, you can also brown this on all the sides in a little bit of vegetable oil. Otherwise, we're just gonna make life simple today.
You just would have to have it in your crock pot longer probably if you don't brown it ahead of time? Or would it cook just as fast?
It would cook probably just the same. Brown, it just gives it a nice color too.
Okay.
And so we're gonna dump in the stew meat.
Okay.
Now we're gonna use our seasonings. We're gonna put in a little bit of thyme and some pepper, 1/4 of a teaspoon pepper. This recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of salt, but if you think that might be too much, just start with 1 teaspoon of salt, and you could always add in more salt, but you can never take it out. So.
Right, to taste, right. Okay. Looks like you have, is it flour there, or is that like a cornstarch?
That's flour. That's for the very last step.
Okay.
So for the juice part of the stew, we're gonna add in some cider.
This is just plain apple cider.
Yes, but like I said, you can find this time of year. You can find some Nebraska apple orchards that might have some fresh cider for sale. So.
True. Okay. And then how long do you put it in the crock pot?
So this is our vinegar that's going cider vinegar. You can go on high for 4 hours, or you can go low and slow for 8.
Okay.
In the last half hour, I would say, then you're going to take a little bit of the juice out and then slowly whisk in your flour. We're just gonna kind of make a gravy to thicken the stew.
Okay.
So you wanna make sure your stew is nice and heated and bubbly. I like to pair this stew with like a cheddar bay biscuit and fresh Honeycrisp apple slices. I always make this for the guys during harvest for our silage crew, and it always goes over well.
Great, you'll have to share that biscuit recipe with us at some point.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm gonna try it here real quickly. And this is the finished one. It smells great.
Yes.
This is what it looks like, folks. Put some in here.
Like I said, it's not fall to me unless I make this recipe. It's healthy too with the stew meat, so it's a win-win recipe.
And the meat is really tender.
Yes, yes it is.
Which I'm sure this cider helps with that. This is very, very good. We have the recipe for you on our Pure Nebraska Facebook page. Back to you, John.
All right.